What's happening, everybody? Welcome to your weekend forecast for the weekend of December 19th and the 20th of 2020. Brian here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. As always, love you guys. Appreciate you for being here. This is a big weekend. A lot of shifts are taking place. Jupiter in Aquarius, about to conjunct on Monday with Saturn. Mercury is going to move into Sag. Let's take a look here at the charts. Well, Saturday here, we do have that moon that's going to come into Pisces, and it's coming off the sextile late Friday evening, even Saturday morning for some people. It's to the sun. So there's definitely like an expanse that's taking place, I would say, and within our emotions and moving forward. That was in Aquarius when that happened. So we're definitely looking towards the future. And with Jupiter, I mean, big deal here, 0 degrees Aquarius. This is starting a whole new 12-year cycle that we haven't seen, with Jupiter in Aquarius. It's been about 12 years and, some change. So that's a big deal. And we're just so, balsamic here coming into a new Jupiter-Saturn phase on Monday, switching from that Taurus cycle of Earth and building your value into a more individuated, know your value, know your worth, and know where you want to go to in the future. And how to, be smart and get to that. So there's so many things happening this weekend that is good. I think there's positivity for sure. We look at Jupiter down here, 0. I mean, Jupiter's been -9 for the last 12 months, and like 12 months and some change. So it's been rough, I think, when we've been trying to expand and get new things to come into our life. But like, this is making definitely a big opening for people, and people that want to go towards the future that you want to go and that you want to connect with. And it's dropping, certain connections that you think you need to have, but they're not letting you go towards the future you need to go. Like, people are so important. People are going to be the gift, but it's connecting to the right people. And it's connecting intelligently, like knowing from like a higher perspective of your life, like where you want to go, and using that to really unlock things and explore the future that we can step into, and not the future that we're told to step into. Now, Saturn is there conjunct, with Jupiter. So there are still the Saturn restrictive qualities. But it's like, are we going to restrict ourselves anymore? Or are we going to kind of break free and do things our own way? And Saturn in Aquarius lets us do that. If we're trying to move into a better future and connect better with people and connect to the right people. So it's definitely big things. Like, I'm happy to see Jupiter out of fall position of Capricorn. I think we all are. It's kind of a sigh of relief. Like, we made it. It's just Pluto in Capricorn now. So we're done with the heaviest Capricorn transit like ever. Like, to be honest, I mean, that was some heavy stuff with Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn, and then having eclipses there, prior in 2019. So major shift of energy here, and the people are important. Creating win-wins in life, looking at things objectively are going to open doors and show you gifts. So we have to be understanding of people. We still need to have empathy for what's going on in our world and for what's going on with people. But at the same time, like, there's an expansiveness when you can link up and connect to the people that are going to bring you some electricity in life. Remember, they're going to start squaring Uranus. So reality is going to be shaken up. But if we can connect to the right people and use this Saturn to be responsible and go in that direction of what's going to be the ultimate stimulation, the ultimate connections, this is good. Like, we can use this energy to our benefit, even when the world around us is going to start looking a little weird. There's a beautiful aspect here that if you're in your individuated state, you can really move forward to a lot of positivity. That sun is conjunct Mercury this weekend, especially Saturday, right on the galactic center. So we're getting messages from the universe, right? From spirit, from source. It's a sensitive spot there, I would say. And, it's trying to show us how much expansiveness we can go into right now. And then all these shifts out of Capricorn is like, okay, like, you made it to the top of the mountain. Now, how are you going to use what you learned to get there, to go further in life, and to keep pushing forward always, not to just give up and get lazy. I think this is still a time, especially with a Mars conjuncting Eris this weekend, squaring Pluto. Like, our deepest desires for ourself and what we want to move forward with are still so important. We don't want to get lost, especially with this Mercury, right? Look at that Mercury getting blown out by the sun. So it's -10 in its detriment position. And, you have to understand, too, that this conjunction from a helio perspective, right, is Mercury on the other side of the sun. So what's actually happening is, from a helio perspective, the Earth and Mercury are as far away from each other as they're going to get. So it's like we can get these messages, but we have to go through our soul first, I would say, to get there. And we have to go deep within to illuminate the message and to not get lost, but to bring it in closer if we can, is kind of the trick to that. But there's definitely, there's going to be so much information this weekend. Like, a lot of things are going to happen. You're going to feel a shift. You're going to see a shift in the world, whether it comes from the media or not. And remember, Neptune, of course, squaring these nodes is just going to be a big deal for the next month as they get tighter and tighter, and they make that exact hit in January. So there's definitely a path that needs to be taken, and we want to explore new fronts. And I think that there's a lift of restriction, but only if you're willing to rebel and be kind of that Aquarian badass for your life that you want to have in the future, you want to initiate. You can go get it. I think there's a gift for the people that are strong and in their sovereignty to go do that right now and to connect with people. Everybody says don't connect, don't go do this, don't see people, stay away from people, stay away from family for the holiday, whatever. Like, we need to connect to the right people. That's what the astrology says. So as an astrologer, that's what I follow. That's what I listen to. Whatever the TV says, whatever the media says, it's not that relevant. We have to understand that still with Pluto there's like a hidden government power that's pushing through a very strong Neptune in Pisces, a story, especially with the Sag energy and a South Node in Sag. What is the story they're pushing, and is it for your benefit, and is it going to bring you a stimulating reality? Or are they trying to take you into some weird story, some weird philosophy? So things to look at. There's definitely it's a pivotal day, Saturday. There's a lot taking place, especially with Venus coming up on the quincunx to Uranus here in Taurus. Like, reality is, we're going to feel it get shaken up, and we're going to have to look at what our values really are and expand upon what we want and feel and need to have to feel good in life, especially with relationships coming off the trine to Chiron. So Venus is making a lot of aspects here. And, we're losing a lot of Scorpio energy, which I think was good. We had to go deep and figure that out. But look, Juno is officially in Sagittarius, and so is White Moon Lilith. And then Lilith, of course, is conjunct Uranus. So kind of being that badass and going in your own route and doing it your own way and not being controlled in your reality, but to have your values locked and loaded and not going to let something take that away is still very important. And when things start feeling a little weird, with this quincunx to Uranus and Mercury, like, there's an expansive door out, but it's you, and it's inside you, and it's with your power and your sovereignty and you being that rebel, badass Aquarian kind of energy within yourself to individuate and not go with the herd. Because Capricorn's the herd, I'll be honest. Like, it's the sheep. It's like, you're just going to follow all the rules in life to get to the top, to have some sort of power. But how much power do you really have if you don't have power over yourself and you're just following something else, right? These are questions that we have to ask with the North Node in Gemini. We have to be able to ask these questions like, am I just doing this because something else is telling me to? Or am I doing this because my soul is in it and the universe is guiding me towards something that's going to bring me happiness and stimulation? And with Juno moving into Sagittarius, I would say that's great because, right, Juno is Jupiter's wife, is the goddess of all goddesses. I think that when it comes to relationships, if we're going to explore new stories and explore new fronts and expand on what actually is stimulating and feels good, there's something amazing. And your intuition's guiding you in those directions. And it's like, if you're exploring something that you don't even want to merge with when it comes to relationships or not at this point. And you have to just pull the trigger and go with that. Or you're going to feel like unfulfilled, especially with a South Node there in Sagittarius. So it's definitely a day. I'm pretty pumped on on Saturday and even Sunday, I think that we're being able to really get that message to go towards things that stimulate us, that are going to expand our world. I think that things might come out that are going to be shocking this weekend. But it's like we're going to start getting tested on an Aquarian level. Like if we're ready to rebel, if we're ready to take our power, use this Mars square Pluto to really go after what our soul desires and not have our soul taken over for something else. And I'm going to be honest, I'm just going to say it since I brought up just saying that. The Biden slogan, battle for the soul of the country, there's something about that slogan that just does not resonate with me. It feels like a government is trying to take the soul of the country. It's a weird projection. I don't know. Ever since I first saw that, I've never said it on this channel, but I'm just going to say it. Like, that is a weird slogan. The battle for the soul of the country. Who do you think's fighting to try and get the soul of the country? I think we all should battle for our own soul in these times and have that Aquarian badass rebel energy that's not going to let anybody take that from us. My opinion, of course. Anyways, we come over to Sunday and we get this Mercury, which is going to go from -10 to -5. It's going to come into Capricorn. It's just placement. Mercury doesn't really mind Capricorn, to be honest. So we do get this like Mercury that's going to start, looking actually to see what actually is the right structures going on and how can we figure things out in I would say a pretty like smart and responsible way of the life we want to live. Where do we want to go? What are our goals? And we're going to start going into that space to see what we can build, I think, and figure more things out, especially with the sun at 29 degrees of Sag, right? It's the last day. On the solstice, the 21st, we get Jupiter-Saturn meeting exactly. This is a big prep day. Like, this is like, are you ready to explore a new front in your life? And are you going to drop the old stories of this authoritarianistic Capricorn, you have to do this sort of reality? And are you going to open up some beautiful story to something amazing? So I really like Sunday too, especially with that sun at 29, like getting ready to get that handoff to Capricorn for, the darkest day of the year, actually, ironically enough. So on the darkest day of the year. But I think it's important to remember too that Capricorn has a light to it, right? Because yes, Capricorn kicks off with the darkest day of the year, but it also is lighter every day after that, all the way till the summer solstice. So I think, we've been getting darker and darker, but if we're going to explore new stories, there's more light to come, but we have to find that light for ourselves. Venus is going to make that exact quincunx to Uranus. We got Lilith right there. Like, it's definitely time to get some Uranian Aquarian energy. Like, it's going to make you feel good. It's going to open up more doors. It directly correlates to the Jupiter, right? Jupiter being the dispositor of Sagittarius in Aquarius with this quincunx. Like, come on. Like, it's time to rebel for your individuated state. Look at things that are different. Do things different. If you're just following the protocol that's being told to you, it's not gonna feel good. And with the quincunx, like, you're gonna be guided to do things differently, and you gotta trust that. It's gonna show you your ultimate value. Right? Because Venus also is the ruler of Taurus, where we have Uranus. Like, our value of ourself and our confidence and what we can build and create from within ourselves with Lilith there. Like, we gotta do it our own way here to find that value. It's not about what somebody else trying to give you value from a government position, or I don't know. It does kind of feel like there could be stimulus checks. I don't know. They've been holding out for a long time. Maybe they put some out there, but even if they do, like, whatever, it's $1,500. Like, that's not. A lot of people pay more in rent or mortgage every month than that. Like, whoop-de-doo. On a dollar, by the way, the DXY is under 90 cents on the dollar. Like, the dollar is dropping like a rock. So it's just, we got to look at these things, especially with Uranus in Taurus. Like, what is actually valuable? Can you own it? Do you want to own it? And does it actually make you feel good? And do you have the confidence to go after what makes you feel good? So bring that up. we're going to have that moon also still in Pisces. It's going to make some really nice aspects. It definitely, Saturday, it did make the sextile to Uranus. So Saturday, it's going to sextile Uranus. So again, stepping into that element of shaking things up to feel more yourself and you and do it your own way is going to feel good, and it's going to feel aligned with something bigger. Then we have that moon conjunct Neptune on Sunday, which is a sensitive spot, but I think the more we tune into our spirituality, our intuition, that knowing, because that moon's also going to square the nodes with Neptune, like we're going to know the path that we need to go on. And it might feel like a sensitive day, because you're really making like this final choice before a huge cycle ends and a new one begins of like, am I ready to go towards the stimulating environment I want with the values that I have for myself? And am I going to be strong with a Mars on Eris square Pluto? Well, I like to think you are. Let's go that way. And we got to trust those signs and connect to the whole picture of things, and not just look at the spell, what's being projected. So it's big. I'm pumped on this weekend. I think major things are going to come up in life for us where we just have to be true to ourselves, be true to what we want, be true to our soul, and get ready to start the new chapter, because we are in a new world now. And if you can go into that world like a badass and not give a fuck about some weird story that's being told to you. And I'm not saying don't care about people. We need to care about people. Absolutely, we need to be empathetic and loving towards people. Love, ironically enough, being the opposite sign of Aquarius, is Leo, which is love. In the purest, most creative, most passionate sense, is the opposite sign of Aquarius, which we're coming into so much Aquarius. But guess what? We need to focus on that. And every time the moon now comes into Leo, we're going to have to be tested about if we can bring the love out. So love is extremely important, but that doesn't mean we have to follow some weird societal story that, like, what are the facts? What's the actual truth? We have to figure that out for ourselves. So this is it. This weekend's major. I think it's beautiful. I feel really good about it. I think weird things might come out on the TV, on the media, on the phone, whatever. But I think overall, if you're tapped in to your identity, your soul, your spirituality, like source, like you already know where you're going. You know your path, and don't let something take you off your path. That would be the best advice I could give, is like, come into this wanting to build something amazing for yourself with the values that you've created over the last 20 years, and to never let go of that. We've put in so much work. I think there's so many people awake now, have done the shadow work, have gone into the deep areas of life, and it's time to like connect to the people that see the vision, that see what the world could be without being scared and in a fearful place, and bring out the love. It's those times. And we're going to have to be courageous about it, and not just let someone else take the power from you with Mars square Pluto, which is crazy. And we have a first quarter square of the moon on the solstice. Monday we are in a whole new world. So we're closing out cycles. We're getting ready for the new world. Let's go in with some power, some strength, and some confidence, and look at there's stimulation out there. There's something beautiful. That's what we need to focus on and go towards. We pulled the Hermit upright. So, yeah, I mean, I love that this card has Jupiter and the Sun on it. Of course, this is the card of Virgo. But there's something about expanding from the soul, and we do need to make sure that we're good inside, and that, we have that light always, and that we can help guide people. I think that the more we can be of service to others by being of service to self, doing the inner work, like I mentioned the shadow work, it's funny that got brought up before this card, but like we definitely need to focus on where we're at inside and make sure that we're trusting the signs that we're getting to go towards the light that we want to move towards. And that's where the expansion's at, and the love, the sun being in it, and like illuminate that light, because people are going to see it. And that's why we're here right now, is to be illuminating, an illuminated presence for other people, because it's just going to be that kind of place. It's going to be interesting. But there's going to be people that are going to show up in life right now, and those are the people to connect with and move forward with. Let's see what we got with the Black Moon astrology. We got the Earth. So stability. Definitely, I think the more that you have that stability within yourself to be that light and to not let anything take you out of it and to be that rebel, it's going to definitely bring more stability into your life. Even though the world is going to start shaking up and changing in front of our eyes, like pretty quick. You remember, we're coming into a 5-year. That's Mercury. Mercury is the fastest planet. Just rips around the zodiac, especially in Helio, 4 degrees a day. Like, we're talking quick. There's going to be a lot of quick things happening, and the stability is within you. And that's where you're going to be able to illuminate light, is by letting things in life that don't involve you run their course, but to be strong, sovereign within yourself, connect to the right people. It's going to make such a big difference. So that stability within you is important. Astro dice on top of it. Wow, we got the South Node in the 6th house of Taurus. I would say that if you're not willing to put that work in for your value right now, that there is sort of a black hole there with the South Node. So I think that especially with closing this cycle, if you haven't found your value yet, that's not good, right? And then the North Node, of course, would be in Scorpio in the 12th house. We need to go towards being of service, but being of service to listening to the guidance, listening to the spiritual essence, and come from a service point in that aspect as well, and to be able to detach from what isn't a value right now. So if you haven't figured out your value, we definitely need to come back to that and just make sure we have that strong. But I think we're moving forward into being able to detach from what isn't a value and not obsessing over some trash that doesn't make you feel good and doesn't make you feel spiritually aligned. I love you guys very much. It is it's an amazing time. It's an amazing time to be alive. This is quite the transit that's happening on Monday, and this weekend's closing out a lot of chapters, but opening up a whole new world. It's almost like a book. We just finished a book, and now we're starting another new book, and we're super excited about it. So jump into this book and write it for yourself. It's like almost you get to read it and write it at the same time. So write the best story for yourself. Let go of the story that you already read. It's in the past now. We're in the now. We're here. Let's make this place the best we can make it, and let's show some compassion and some love. Even if people are on a different side of the fence than you, they still deserve the compassion and the love, just as we all do. Sending you all my best. I love you all. I'll catch you next time, and I will have weeklies out this week. So I'll see you then. Peace.